Which side are you on, boy? Which side are you on, my lordy? Which side are you on, boy? Which side are you on?
On the night of September 20th, two of my closest friends and I drove 1,450 miles to Pittsburgh to protest the G20. What is the G20?
The G20 is a group of 20 nations, or representatives of 20 nations, that gets together to decide global economic policy. It was created to supplement the G8, which was the group of 8, which originally started as a group of 7, which was the 7 richest countries in the world, the 7 most industrialized countries in the world. Later added Russia, and then the G8 came under a lot of scrutiny throughout the 1990s and the early 2000s, and so the G20 was created to kind of add more legitimacy to the G8 and to say that smaller, less developed countries have a place at the table as well of the global economic policy making. But in fact, it's just an extension of the G8 and carries out the G8 policies and makes it look more legitimate.
The G8 was originally comprised of Canada, France, Germany, Italy, Japan, Russia, the UK, and the US, eventually becoming the G20, adding Argentina, Australia, Brazil, China, India, Indonesia, Mexico, Saudi Arabia, South Africa, South Korea, Turkey, and the European Central Bank. The G20 countries account for 85% of the global gross national product and about 80% of world trade. So why protest the G20?
There's several reasons to protest the G20, considering that if you're looking for a figure or a symbol, it's a perfect symbol because it's the 20 most powerful states in the world.
And what's the importance of protesting a symbol?
Importance of protesting a symbol. When you have something like the G20, which can represent a symbol for many, it can bring thousands of people together, as we saw in Pittsburgh. It can bring many different communities together, and it gives people a target of what it is they are protesting. It brings a name and a face to what it is that is exploiting, oppressing them.
And what do you think specifically, or in general, the G20 symbolizes?
Modern day imperialism.
I guess I was in the streets not just against the G20, but against predatory social, economic, and political systems in general. That includes capitalism. The G20 is a tool and extension of capitalism. It's a governing body that helps create economic policy that destroys people's lives all across the world, that exploits workers in all sorts of countries across the world, that creates a hierarchical relationship between the West and the East, between the North and the South, pitting global industrialized nations against the rest of the world and kind of allowing us to prosper at the expense of the rest of the world's population.